And now onto something I loathed.
So the Generation game. I put this on the Watch Live on iPlayer. I was about sort of maybe 15 minutes behind, so I sort of was whizzing past bits of it. So I think I might have a better impression of it than you, who'd sat through it. I'm
Yeah,
guessing
I watched
the
it all.
entire hour
Yeah, I watched it
with
all because
other
it was.
probably with other people
Yeah,
criticizing it as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, by the end, I thought it was one of the worst things I'd seen this
See,
year.
I
I mean,
didn't
I
mind it. It was the same format. You've got two sets of families playing against each other, various tasks that are. I mean, the tasks were very similar. The games were
yeah,
very similar to
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
old ones. The pottery wheels, the making sausages, the sort of the skits at the end. They had the conveyor belts, um, and yeah,
It just
I did. I have to say, honest, cards on the table, as you always say. I didn't mind it. I think it was what the Generation game was. It was.
okay, but it lacked any of the charm of the original. This was sort of came across as everybody was trying a little too hard, and it was forced fun. It was just lacking in any sort of charm, and just felt thrown together. They had Richard Osman and Lorraine Kelly
I
there for
agree with.
no
There was no
reason.
point of having them on there. I agree with that, but I think
By the
it was
time
very.
it got, by the time it got to bloody Martin Kemp and
Mm,
all the and Basil Brush and Gemma Collins and Arge turning up for no reason other than, oh look, it's Gemma Collins and Arge from The Only Way Is Essex. I thought it was so hackneyed and so forced, and the laughter from the studio audience
yeah,
was almost unbearable.
that was
It was
forced. That was canned. That
yeah.
was comparatively to stuff like Prized Apart and The Getaway Driver and Wedding Day Winners and things like that.
Even
I would say
and
this is an
yeah,
improvement on all of those. I would
yeah. I
say
have
this is one of the better game shows that the BBC has got on, and but all of the BBC game shows at this point have got that sense of forced fun, and I think you're right to an extent that it did have this. But I think people nowadays are a lot more self-conscious than they would have been when the Generation game was on before, and I don't know if that is a fault of the show
But
or
I
or
feel
how
like,
we feel now in
yeah,
this decade.
it was bizarre to have Lorraine Kelly and Richard
Mm,
Osman there to give comment. Why? I don't understand. I don't think anybody understands that.
no,
It meant that Sue and Mel and Sue had shorter times with the contestants, so they
yeah.
couldn't build a rapport. It meant that the games were shorter. It just meant
But
that
I don't think
everything.
the games were any shorter than they were back in the day.
But something was seriously lacking, and I wonder whether having them going over to, because this
Yeah.
generation has to have a judging panel,
Yeah, I agree.
otherwise.
I mean, I think they always had like when they had Johnny Vegas with the pottery, and
Oh
they
yeah,
had
I
the
get
guy.
that.
They always
That
had
made
someone
sense. They always
judging
had
it
an
like that.
expert. Yeah,
They
I
always
agree with
had
that.
that. But
But
I agree with you that I don't understand why Lorraine Kelly and that lot were there. The stuff with The Only Way Is Essex and with Martin Kemp, that didn't bother me as much as it seemed to have bothered other people, because they always had like minor celebrities of the time appearing to do these skits on the
yeah,
original Generation game, and our minor celebrities now are people from Towie and like your Martin
yeah.
Kemps and people like
I
that.
just it could have been
Mm.
done. It felt rushed, and
And
it
I
could have
think
been done a lot better.
I don't know why I've started defending this, but I
No,
just feel like
don't. It's annoying me that you.
yeah, I didn't watch this in real time, so maybe I've got a bit of a skewed opinion of it. They shouldn't have brought this back to begin with. I think it was always going to fail because people are going to compare it to the original, which I don't think you can do in this day and age. But I would say comparing it to the game shows that the BBC normally puts on now, aside for, I mean, I would say like Pointless and things like that, which are more quiz shows than game shows. The actual game shows, this was a step up for me. That's just me.
I just thought it was horrendous.